Amy Winehouse, The Final Days of a Broken Soul, with Back to Black, 2006. She didn't just top charts, she rewired pop with a voice that felt carved from smoke and heartbreak. Within 2 years, she had 6 Grammys to her name, the kind of meteoric triumph most singers only dream about. But on the 23rd of July 2011, the music stopped. The 27-year-old was found at her Camden home, and the coroner later ruled the death a misadventure, the unintended result of acute alcohol poisoning. It wasn't a myth, a rumor, or a tabloid flourish. It was a verdict, clinical, final, devastating. Headlines rushed to file her away with the so-called 27 Club, the chilling roll call of brilliant artists gone too soon. Yet the real story behind Amy's last weeks is more than a tragic label. It's a tangle of pressure, relapse, love, and the unbearable weight of being watched. You won't believe how the same fame that lifted her also pushed her toward the edge, and how the final days of a once-in-a-generation talent became a countdown no one could stop. When Amy Winehouse released Back to Black in 2006, it was more than an album, it was a cultural earthquake. With raw lyrics pulled straight from heartbreak and addiction, she turned personal pain into timeless art. The record sold over 16 million copies worldwide and earned critical acclaim for reviving soul with a modern, biting edge. By the time she stepped onto the Grammy stage in 2008, collecting 5 awards in a single night, Amy had become a global icon celebrated not only for her voice, but also for her rebellious style, her beehive hair, and her refusal to conform. Yet the brilliance of her music carried shadows. Fans adored her honesty, but tabloids feasted on her struggles. Every stumble outside a London pub, every trembling performance, every crack in her personal life became a headline. The world watched as the young woman who sang of resilience and heartbreak seemed to live those very tragedies in real time. Behind the sold-out tours and platinum records was a fragile soul, weighed down by toxic love, substance abuse, and relentless media pressure. She wasn't just another rising star, she was a case study in how fame can magnify pain. And as her demons tightened their grip, the question grew unbearable. Would Amy's story end in redemption or in silence? So, what truly happened in the final chapter of her life? Amy Jade Winehouse was not simply a singer, she was a phenomenon. Born in North London in 1983, she showed an early gift for music, sketching jazz melodies on her guitar before most teenagers had even left childhood. By 20, she had already signed her first record deal, and her debut album, Frank, 2003, earned critical praise. But it was her sophomore effort, Back to Black, 2006, that cemented her as one of the defining voices of the 21st century. With smoky contralto vocals and lyrics that tore open wounds, she stood apart in a pop landscape dominated by polish and perfection. Back to Black was more than an album, it was an anthem of vulnerability and defiance. Songs like Rehab and You Know I'm No Good spoke to millions, their confessional tone making Amy feel less like a star and more like a mirror. In 2008, she became the first British woman to win 5 Grammys in one night, including Record of the Year and Song of the Year. Critics hailed her as the new torchbearer of soul, a bridge between Billie Holiday's tragic grace and modern pop's restless energy. She toured the world, her beehive hair and winged eyeliner becoming instantly iconic. But alongside the praise came a darker narrative. The press framed her not as a genius but as a spectacle, turning her pain into a daily headline. The fault lines in her life widened after her marriage to Blake Fielder Civil in 2007. Their relationship was chaotic, defined by passion but poisoned by substance abuse. Blake later admitted to introducing Amy to crack cocaine and heroin, substances that quickly took root. Friends described their love as toxic symbiosis, a bond too strong to break, yet too destructive to survive. Meanwhile, the paparazzi hunted her relentlessly. Images of Amy stumbling barefoot through Camden streets, bloodied from fights, or performing incoherently at shows became tabloid gold. Each relapse, each failed attempt at rehab, was broadcast worldwide. The brilliance of her artistry was overshadowed by the spectacle of her collapse. By 2011, Amy had tried and failed multiple times to overcome addiction. She canceled tours, attempted detox, and even disappeared from the public eye for weeks at a time. On July 23 of that year, her body was found at her Camden townhouse. The coroner's report revealed a blood alcohol level more than 5 times the legal driving limit. The verdict: death by misadventure, an accidental overdose of alcohol. She was only 27, joining the infamous 27 Club, alongside Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, and Jim Morrison. The world mourned, but the cruel irony remained. Her greatest album, Back to Black, was itself a prophecy of the darkness she could never escape. At the time of her death, Amy Winehouse's estate was valued at roughly £4.6 million, though estimates of the long-term value of her music rights soar into tens of millions of dollars. Posthumous releases, including the album Lioness, Hidden Treasures, continued to sell, ensuring her voice lived on even as her body was gone. Today, her name endures not just in record sales, but in tributes, documentaries, and a biopic. Fans gather in Camden each year to lay flowers at her memorial, proof that her art touched something eternal. Her wealth, though substantial, feels almost irrelevant compared to the cultural mark she left. Fame gave her riches, but shadows claimed her peace. On stage, Amy Winehouse was immortal, a voice that carried decades of jazz, soul, and pain in every note. Yet offstage, she was fragile, struggling against demons that fame only magnified. The contrast is almost unbearable. The woman who sang "Love is a Losing Game" turned her own life into the very tragedy her music warned about. She stood as both a beacon of raw artistry and a symbol of how destructive the spotlight can be. For every Grammy she held aloft, there was a night of chaos in Camden. For every standing ovation, a headline mocking her decline. In the end, the applause faded, but the shadows remained. Today, her songs still echo in cafes, in stadiums, in the hearts of those who felt her honesty pierce through the noise of pop culture. Amy Winehouse's story is not only about loss, it is also about the dangerous beauty of truth in art. She lived fast, loved fiercely, and sang without filters. And while the world will forever mourn her, it will also forever remember her. Which part of Amy's journey shocked you the most? Her rise, her fall, or the silence that followed? If Amy Winehouse's story moved you, don't let it fade into silence. Her life was a reminder that behind the spotlight, even the brightest stars can break. By supporting this channel, you help keep these untold stories alive, the fame, the shadows, and the fragile humanity in between. So, like this video, share it with those who still hum Back to Black, and subscribe to our channel for more hidden truths behind the legends. Together, let's uncover the stories the world tried to forget.